to talk to Gabby, and I would also need the documentation that she has, but I also advised her she could make the report in Mankato. On 10/29, Gabby came in with the information, provided me the documentation she had, which showed that the occurrence had actually happened in Chicago, Illinois. She was out no money. It was not a criminal matter. I assisted her by filling out an ICR, completed it while she was there, instructed her on how she could then go through and help herself get this matter cleaned up. A reporting on November 2nd, 2009, report of a drugging at a bar. The individual called me, said she'd been at a Halloween party at Johan's bar. While there for an hour, she felt funny, didn't think she was intoxicated. We discussed GHB, which is a date rape drug, and other possibilities. She agreed that was not the case, and that was the end of the conversation. There's an email from Cheryl Bryce in this packet during this time on Wednesday 28, October 28th at 3 p.m. And in that it says, October 28th, Lanning had no calls for service on this date, spent the majority of the time out of the office. Tuesday, 10/27. What was I doing? I don't know. I was at work. But there's some implication that because I was at the office, I was doing something wrong. On 10/27, Thomas Holtz, 110 or 111 Hillcrest Drive, Belle, Plaine, came in. Lanning met with Lanning to file a police report regarding his 14-year-old stepdaughter. She's been receiving harassing text messages from an adult black male. As of this afternoon, record does not have a case number or information from Lanning regarding this incident. A full report is required on harassing text messages. We've addressed that. A full report was not required because there was really no crime at that point. Just because she had received the text messages doesn't mean it's a crime. She has to be, the person has to be told they do not want those messages for it to become a crime. In addition, he had not talked to his daughter, or the stepdaughter, or the girlfriend. We did not know if this was a crime or not. Consequently, we did not pull an ICR. I directed him on what to do. I gave him guidance. On Tuesday, 10/27, between 11 and 11:30, a young man in his early 20s stopped in and needed to speak with an officer. He wanted to file a police report. Lanning had him in the office behind closed doors for approximately 15 minutes, not sure who this individual is or what type of incident he needed an officer for. Record does not have a case number or any documentation. As Mr. Bixby came in and asked, how do I evict somebody? I directed him to an attorney or to the Scott County Sheriff's Department. We then discussed the problems of landlord-tenant issues. The actual meeting over what he wanted, 2 or 3 minutes. Incident medical, incident 09002841, medical at the Lutheran home. 81-year-old female transported to the hospital. Lanning has notes in the ICR, but no victim information, i.e. name, date of birth, for records tracking. Hiss and assist. There's a run sheet by Ridgeview. If we need that information, we can get it from Ridgeview. Still no audio, or still no case number audio documentation in the crim sex case with a 4-year-old. That case, and I'll use very generic terms here, came in from the Midwest Center for Children's Resources. In most cases, when a case such as this is referred to the police department, we are dealt with the victim or the parent or guardian. In this case, the report came from the Midwest Center for Children's Resources. There was no prior contact. They had done an evaluation or an interview. Initially, there was numerous police departments mentioned in that report. We were not sure where it happened, how it happened, anything like that. It wasn't until after the next week when I got in contact with other police departments and we worked through it that we determined that the alleged event did happen in Belle Plaine. However, I still did not have a victim or a parent or guardian. They weren't reporting this. The child was with the godmother at the time they were at a doctor's office. I worked the case. Yes, initially there should have been an ICR pulled, but because of the way it was reported, we weren't sure it happened here. The case was worked and it is now currently at the county attorney's office. The mother and the guardian and the mother and father of the child did not want any police action on it. I worked the case and did it. On November 16th, Mr. Murphy requested that I provide him a written response to these allegations, and I did. Then on the 13th, we had a follow-up meeting, and there's an email from Mr. Murphy to me saying we need to get together and discuss what we discussed last week. What time's, and I emailed him back, what time's good. We met, he asked me how things were going. I said I pulled an ICR on every time I had contact with a citizen. There was no follow-up discussion. That was it. But for some reason, those two meetings were not documented. And because I don't have access to my computer, I can't verify that, but the emails are there. I've already addressed these.
There's a letter in your packet of information. It's a memo from Chief Lanning to Administrator Murphy dated November 18th, 2009. In that letter, Mr. Lanning summarizes the events, and he again summarized it, and he has done so. So in the interest of time, we need not go through that. However, there is a incident report dated November 23rd, 2009 with an ICR number, and that is related to the harassing texts from the stepdaughter when Officer Matt Brandt then took the police report consistent with the party's wishes. That law enforcement matter was addressed and it was done so timely.